Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Google Hangout with me. It's Glenn Dietzel here, and I'm really excited today to show and to talk to you about how to create massive momentum immediately. I've just put my cell phone here on mute just to make sure that we're not interrupted here. And I've got a lot to share with you today, so you're going to want to make sure you take some notes. And I want to understand that what I'm going to share with you is something that's proprietary, and I'm really proud of. I'm going to show you kind of a gateway into what I've been able to do, what my clients are able to do, and that's why I'm in business. I'm in business for our clients. I live vicariously through their success, and if there's any complaints that we do get is sometimes that people talk about that we do use too many testimonials, etc. So we're holding off on some of them. You're going to see some of our clients. It's just amazing. Unbelievable the way that they've been able to grow a business from scratch, start, scale, doing deals like Nancy. A shout out to Nancy out there, just closed 4 deals at $15,000, blew her mind. Shout out to Brian, closing some multi-million-dollar deals. Shout out to Luke, who I just featured a couple weeks ago, just came into the Canadian Lake Home, and just doing some amazing things. Now, I want to help you do some amazing things because we all want to develop the confidence, right, to play big. And that's why I've entitled this, How to Create Massive Momentum Immediately, because in today's marketplace, it's absolutely crucial that you can do that. All right? So, with that being said, I've got my Starbucks coffee. Remember, one of the rules here of joining our Google Hangouts is that you have your coffee. I've got a few things here I'm looking down at that I'm going to show you that's been very instrumental in my accelerated growth, and I'm going to make a few recommendations here for you today. Like on all our Google Hangouts, I have nothing to sell. What I do, will tell you this right now, is that we've had to mute our phone lines because of the demand on our company's time, and we've created a queuing process, etc., for people that are interested in mentoring. And I want to show you how to build that kind of momentum. Been doing this for 10 years, been doing high-end coaching and mentoring, building something from scratch. And I'm a former teacher, I'm a former educator. One of the biggest things that ever happened to me was 10 years ago, our phone at our home rang. It wasn't one of these, one of my, wasn't a smartphone. It was literally our home phone tied literally into a wall, and our phone rang, and it was Adobe phoning me. And they were phoning me, and I was really surprised why. And they said, you know, we've seen what you've been doing in the area of ebook authoring, and we want to feature you. And I want to show you how to build that kind of, and that's the kind of calls that we get. And just one call will change your life. Now I'm going to take you into kind of some processes, thinking patterns, some of the little formulae that I've used. And I want to share with you at the outset is that in order to create the kind of massive momentum that all of us want, I want to share with you right now that it must be an intensely personal experience. Success is personal, and if you don't understand that success is personal, you're never going to be successful. If you're always looking out there and envious of what other people are doing, etc., and it's always looking out for perspective, but never internally for value. So we've got to build that kind of adhesion. One of our speed to market principles is you look within for value, you look without for perspective. And that's why I love our Quick Home Business Profits program, our Speed to Profits publishing and partnership program. For those of you that have just been coming and making the wise investment in that program, thumbs up. All of you are getting welcome calls from me and from my project manager, Karen Leonard, and from our team. And you're in for the ride of your life. That's all I can tell you. So I want to help you today, and I'm going to take you through my personal journey, and we're going to self-reflect, we're going to deconstruct, because all of us want massive momentum, right? Because the reality is in today's marketplace, you don't know how to build momentum very quickly. People don't want to be around somebody, or they don't want to be around in a city, or they don't want to be at a bar, or they don't want to be at something that doesn't have momentum. All right, unless you're on a really private one-on-one date or something like that. But people want to be where the action is. So you've got to create some action. So I'm here to help you create some action for you, okay? Would that be a good thing? To be able to create the kind of action that you really want. To be able to get out of your way and get the cobwebs out of your past and to really begin to accelerate. So you're going to like what I'm going to show you here. And our first lesson that I learned was I had to raise the level of my conversations. I have to raise the level of my conversations. Now, you might be asking me, and I've got a bunch of things here I'm going to show you. And they're really, really cool. Some of them highly personal that I'm going to show you. I'm literally going to show you some of the things that happened to me and some of my materials that I was using in order to build one of the fastest growing coaching mentoring companies today. And this will work whatever it is that you're doing, because you've got to create momentum. So our principle around building newer and faster conversations is crucial. Why? Because all thinking is literally just a silent Q&A session in your brain. So in order to get greater focus, you want to raise the level of questions. Because when you start raising the level of questions on yourself, you can raise the accountability to find a better answer. And that's crucial. So I want you to write that down. Raise the level of question, raise the level of accountability to yourself. Okay? So we're going to talk about more about that. And I want you to write down this little formula. The most congruent people today, according to all the research, are able to do three things. They're able to bring in the kind of revenue that they want. They're able to create the kind of impact that they want. And they're able to create happiness. So there's got to be those three things: happiness, impact, and revenue. All right, those three things. Now, I'm going to show you what that means to me. All right, so it's really kind of a threefold level of building momentum. So when it came to revenue, I'm going to take you on my journey. I understood the importance of mentorship, and I understand the importance of me. Now, I'm going to show you what I did. All right, so mentorship and me. For revenue, for impacting, I'm going to show you what I did to create the kind of impact that I did. I had to focus on me. And for happiness, this is really important. I had to focus on other people, key other people right here, and myself. All right, so there's two critical groups of people that I had to make happy. Key other people, the key is other people, and me. All right, so we want to take a look at creating massive momentum from those three areas. Now, if you have been with us for any length of time, and I'm going to draw something out here for you, you know that, and those of you that are clients of ours, you know, congratulations again. It blows me away, some of the training events that we've had this week in your success stories. I'm humbled. I'm humbled. And all I can say is the reason is you've got a smarter system, because if you just take a look at me, I'm just a normal guy. All right? Now I got my game face on today, and you might not tell that. But I do things really strategically, and I'm going to show you what I do. First of all, my rule is always this. With all of my clients, with my kids, when I teach them about success, there's three things that you want to focus on. You want to focus on what other people don't do, can't do, or wouldn't think of doing. Don't do, can't do, or wouldn't think of doing. Don't do, can't do, wouldn't think of doing. Now, I didn't have the brains to understand that back when I was an educator, a vice principal of an elementary school 10 years ago. Things just shot out of nowhere. But up until that point, I was 38 years of age. And I thought, you know, everybody had me fast-tracking into being a director of education. I was the youngest vice principal with our school board. I became a VP at the age of 32. And I had a lot of senior levels of influence, not only with our own school board, but across Ontario, being very involved with the Ontario Principals Council, which was our organization for leadership and administration in the province of Ontario. And if you haven't guessed it, our international office, the Canadian Lake Home, is found in Canada. So I want to take you through the journey. And if I can just draw this out for you right now, this blue line here that I just drew out, and I don't have all my colored markers here. They're kind of hiding here because I got so much stuff here I want to show you. But if that's the blue line of what people don't do, all right, I want to show you, this is the intersection now of what people can't do, okay, the vertical line. And the intersection of what other people wouldn't think of doing. And this is what I call the seam of success. All right? So I'm going to just draw a circle. Okay, so there's one of those lines. It represents, and I could have drawn this out 3D for you, but I'm not going to today. But just one of those lines is what others don't do. And the vertical line, what other people can't do, and the diagonal line of what people would not think of doing. All right, and if I draw a circle around that, that's what I call the seam of success. Being successful is unbelievably difficult today. If success were easy, everybody would be successful, right? Everybody would be doing exactly what it is that they want. So remember our threefold rule of success. It's got to have generate revenue. All right, remember our fold here, right here. Let's just make sure. Revenue. All right, it's got to impact you personally, or you're not going to do it. And it's got to bring you happiness, or you're not going to stick with it. All right, and or you're going to ruin your success by falling into the entrapments of success. So we don't want to let that happen, and I'm here to show you and take you to the land of security. All right, so you following me so far? You understanding that success is very difficult, and I think we're all mature enough to understand that. What makes success easy is having a better system. So we don't want to work harder. As I told somebody today, I've got all these people that have been texting me for applications for our titanium program, and if you missed the Google Hangout yesterday, we had a lot of technological problems with people actually getting on the actual Hangout with me, so I gave them the actual long URL so they could join, and we're going to be doing that this fall, giving you a chance to ask some questions of me directly, but because of that, a lot of you are on this training today, so we're going to give out that URL again at the end of this training here. So I want you to write this down right now, that the whole point of getting a mentor is so that you can model, because a true mentor is going to provide for you the very specific steps that you need to model for success. And in order to make that, balance that with the external, the perspective, and the internal, your value, you've got to learn how to reprogram yourself. All right, and I see so many people today that say that they want to reprogram themselves, but at the end of the day, they can't, or they use an ineffective system. So I'm going to take you through how I reprogrammed myself from, standing in fields in very small schools that I was a teacher at for 14 years, 8 as a classroom teacher, 6 as a VP, wandering around thinking, you know what, I was created to do more than this. As much as I enjoyed working with students and I enjoyed teaching, it just wasn't bringing me the kind of fulfillment that I really, really wanted, the kind of impact. Remember we talked about impact is about you. The kind of impact that I really wanted to make, and more of a global basis, bigger. And I was using a bad model, which wasn't creating the kind of revenue that I wanted, and ultimately it wasn't giving me the kind of happiness that I wanted in life. So one of the principles that I want you to write down right now, and it's one of the reasons why I've got the shirt that I have, all right? Those of you that have been following us for any length of time, you know that I'm really big into Spartan races. At a really cool race just recently, shocked my oldest son, Callum, who's a stud athlete, and because I didn't finish that far behind him. So that tells you how anal I am. And my son finished 61st overall. So there were about 6,000 people in the program in the race. I finished 384th. Not bad for a 48-year-old. I just tell you that because what I'm going to show you, you're going to be able to accomplish the kinds of things that you've always wanted. I don't care what it is that you want. More successful parenting. So I'm going to give you a formula. This formula works in anything. All right? Because success, if you think about it, starts again, as I said, it starts internally. It starts looking at your own value. And too many people today are trying to build their self-esteem by what they do as opposed to who they are. Okay? So self-esteem is based on who you are. And I got to help you through that. So we got to understand this. The reason why I'm wearing this shirt is that momentum equals movement. You've got to create movement for yourself. That's crucial. You've got to create movement. All right? If you don't move, I was just at Starbucks having a coffee, getting ready today. I just, thinking through stuff, and I was standing up, doing a few things because I just needed to move. I drove over there. I've been busy morning on the phone, as I said, going through all the applications for our latest program with a lot of people coming into the Canadian Lake Home. And that's kind of a vetting process that I've created in allowing people to talk to me. So let's write this down right now because this is crucial. And I show you my process. You're going to want to write this down. He or she who self-reflects the greatest controls marketplaces. He or she who self-reflects the greatest controls marketplaces. All right. So I want to take you into my self-reflection process, and my self-reflection is a process. All right, just like success is a process, it's not a stated event. It is a journey. It is a process. It's a process of discovering who you really are and what you are called to do. And in order to do that, you've got to be able to self-reflect in a very powerful way. Because if you want to lead masses and you want to influence your kids, become more influential on your sports team, be more influential in business. And that's why we're all on here, right? We want to be more influential because more influential people are able to close deals easier and faster. Then we got to start working with a better system. And the system that I created is all around accountability. Now, you're going to like this level, the accountability that I created. It gave me a chance to self-reflect on my accountability. Now, I want to show you one of the keys on what kept me accountable, especially when I was in education, and absolutely